Well, hello. Welcome back to the Bookcast. I am D.L. White, Atlanta-based author of romantic fiction featuring Black men and women, and the Bookcast is my platform for sharing updates from the desk of D.L. White. That's me. I'm telling you about what I'm reading, what I want to read, what I'm writing, where I've been, what I'm doing, all the good stuff. So I am glad that you're here. It was a fantastic week in my world, and I hope your week was good as well. But today is Saturday, which means it is the weekend for me, and I am looking forward to sharing just a couple of updates. Nothing too exciting or dramatic happening over here. I did not write anything, so never fear. I did edit something, and I do have another piece of short fiction to share with you all this week, but before that, I want to get to two things. First of all, I was on the Between the Reads podcast this week. The episode went up on Tuesday on your favorite podcast app and also on YouTube. I encourage you to go to the YouTube because sometimes I forget that this is also an audio podcast, and so faces are very important to me. You probably want to watch it on the YouTube. It is a super fun episode. I always have such a good time with Audra. It's just a giggly good time. I can't wait to get back up to her neck of the woods and give her a hug and sit and talk and have coffee and all the good stuff. Last year I went up for my birthday. It was March. It was freezing cold. So am I ever going to the DC area in March again? No. So, Audra, I'm gonna see you in the summer. Okay, honey? Okay, so I am at season 4, episode 128. We had a good chat about Hey Lover, and one thing I always say I appreciate about Audra is that she be reading these books, and she like just reads into every little thing. And I so love how she gets down and dirty with my books. I think that a lot of people, when they read it, they see fluff and ease and low angst and hashtag no struggle. But she actually just like really looks for the subtext and the tone and the tell me about what this means and tell me why this is important. We had such a good conversation about India and Malik and Stina and Tony's ass and Brandon, who is Malik's baby brother. I really liked writing that dynamic in the book. I had a ton of fun writing this novel. Again, it's not high art. I needed to publish something in 2022. I had this like 8 chapters of this or so, and so I went for it and finished it, and it's out there. I am still trying to get myself to work on the paperback version of this book. I don't know what my stopgap is. I just haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna get to it. It's a short one, so I kind of don't feel like it needs to be in print, but you know, second time around is in print, so it's even shorter than Hey Lover, so I gotta get on the ball. I know. So check out Between the Reads podcast. Give her a like, comment, share, subscribe, follow her. She is Read It Black to me on Twitter. She is Between the Reads podcast on Instagram. She is a delight and a gem. Adore her so much. Second thing to share is I want to talk about my February reading wrap up. Y'all know me. I am a book reader, a book lover. I would rather read than do anything. And so I'm always going to be reading. In February, I had a really slow reading month. I only got 6 books in. And I know some people are only reading 1 or 2 and they're like, only 6, but I'm like a 10 or 12 book a month kind of gal. I had 2 off-site meetings in February, which means I'm traveling. I'm out of the house during the day. I don't have, 6 or 8 hours to sit here and listen to an audiobook or have Kindle read a book to me, or, just traveling and like being busy doing other things takes away from the time I would spend stealing away from work during the day to read. So I got 6 books in. 5 of the 6 were by Black authors, so yay on that. I did have one hangover, Black Candle Women. I wanted to get read by February 28th, which was the pub date, and I didn't. Since I wasn't going to get it read by the 28th, I decided to wait for the audio, and I'm oh so glad I did. It's read by Bonnie Turpin, who is bae. The way to get me to listen to your audiobook is to have Bonnie Turpin read it, or my narrator, Sherelle Palmer. Her voice is like butter. Absolutely loved it. This was an okay book for me. I have issues with like black magic and spells and curses. It doesn't, that level doesn't make sense to me. The writing is sublime. It is a really great story about 3 generations of women and this curse that is over the family and preventing them from falling in love. You have to read the book. I don't want to spoil it for you. I rated it 3 stars, it's good. I'm probably not going to read it again, but I did not hate the experience. That is Black Candle Women by Diane Marie Brown. It published February 28th. You should run out to your nearest independent Black-owned bookstore and pick it up, or order it from Resist Booksellers, which is my favorite independent Black-owned bookstore. The other books I read in February, I did a reread of Nighthawk. Since I referenced that book in the piece that I read last week, I had a hankering for it. I hadn't read it since 2018. I actually forgot a whole lot of the story. So the thing about getting old is that your memory starts to fail you, and you forget stuff you've read. Like, I didn't remember any of that book. And so it's out on audio now. And so I didn't listen to that. I don't know who the narrator is, and I'm not going to look it up. But it was well performed in audio. Nighthawk by Beverly Jenkins. I also listened to Decent People by Charles DeShaun Winslow. Really enjoyed this. I did not read in West Mills. I meant to, but I saw something shiny and forgot. I did not suffer for not having read in West Mills, but I feel like my experience would have been enhanced if I had read that first. But this is also an excellent novel. So many sub stories and other stories that come under the main story. It's early. I've only had 1 sip of coffee. I can't speak at the moment. Decent People, Charles DeShaun Winslow. Good read. Black male author, which is excellent because my black male author game is so weak right now. So weak. So glad I got a black male author in. Also, a couple of bookcasts ago, I talked about how I wanted to fight Nathaniel Hawthorne because I was not really liking Scarlet Letter. And I discovered that it's because it wasn't the Scarlet Letter that I read in high school that I really enjoyed. It was The Crucible by Arthur Miller. And I don't know how I mixed these two up, but I did. So it was not the Scarlet Letter that I read in high school and really enjoyed. And then I could not remember how I could possibly have liked this text in high school because it's just thick of that New England speak. Hated it. So Audra, my girl Audra, hit me up in the DMs. She's like, "Girl, why are you reading that? Go switch to Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriett and Jacobs. It's written in the same decade. I think it's written in 1860s. Scarlet Letter was 1850, which it was fine. Just get me out of this book. So I dumped Scarlet Letter. I no longer want to fight Nathaniel Hawthorne, depending on the day. Really enjoyed Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Like, can we just talk about how dude was obsessed. This was a good read, and it was short. So I got my first book down in the 10 Books, 10 Decades Challenge. So I'm very proud of myself. Yeah. Then I read Doe Black by Nia Forrester, who is one of my auto-buy authors. Like, I don't know what the book is about. If Nia wrote it, I bought it. This is her first foray into more of a mystery vein. Super enjoyed this novel. It did not scratch the mystery itch for me, but I love anything that's like a police procedural, a law procedural, a mystery, a missing person type of book. This book, the last chapter. Oh, the last chapter. I read it, and then I went back and I read it again, and I was like, ooh, girl. You hit the nail. You hit it. This was a really good read. If you don't know Nia, I want you to get to know Nia because she is a gem in the indie black fiction world. Her romances are really good. She's just great. I'm excited about this new series. It's the Lainey Abbott series. Lainey is a DA, an assistant DA, and I mean, what more can I say? It's a good book. I'm super easy to please. I'm so easy to please. And then I listened to The Unspoken, which is a PI series by Ian K. Smith. I do love me a PI series. I want to write a PI series, and so I'm trying to get into writing more of them, or reading more of them, rather. Ian K. Smith is another Black male author, so not one, but two Black male authors in February. I am so proud of me. Please clap. The last book that I want to talk about is actually a nonfiction book. It's a super short manual called Tapping to Forgive. One of my friends, Katie Yanik, entered a challenge, and the challenge was to write and publish a book in 10 days, and she did it. So now she's officially an author. Welcome to the circus, Katie. It's called Tapping to Forgive. Use emotional freedom technique and tapping to forgive, release negativity, and find peace in your life. I, of course, picked this up and did just a super quick read through it, really just to say that I read it. We'll probably go through it again, just to like dig more deeply into it and show respect to the person that spent their time writing the book. And so those are the books that I got through in February. Coming up, I have so many good advanced reader copies coming up. There is a book called Lone Women. It's also by a Black male author. We'll probably wait for the audio for that, but I think it's coming out like mid to late March. That one looks really good. If you've looked it up, if you've seen the cover, it's a gorgeous cover. It snatched me by the eyes. I had to get an advanced copy of it. Although some books, like I look at it and I read the blurb and I'm like, I think I'm going to have to listen to that. It's a different experience for me. Like I had an ARC of Black Candle Women, and I started reading and I was like, this just is not doing it for me. I need the auditory experience. It's such a different movie-like experience for me when I listen to it, especially if the author is the incredible Bonnie Turpin. So we'll see. I might start Lone Women and then see if I feel like I need to listen to it. The other book that's coming March 28th is called, what is it called? I, of course, can't remember it. Ellis Stratton, who is also Shelley Ellis, who writes some of the most delicious Black romance. It's soap opera-y, it's soapy, it's drama-ish, heavy on the drama, heavy on the soap opera, heavy on the love. She is dipping her toe, well, actually jumping in with both feet to the domestic thriller genre under the name L.S. Stratton. Her book, Not So Perfect Strangers, comes out March 28th. So I read an early copy of this and absolutely loved it. And Shelley told me that she had made some changes and updates to it. So I got an ARC of the finished copy, advanced review copy, and so I'm gonna dig into that probably mid-month so I can have it read and post my gleaming review before pub date. But it's called Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. Go out and pre-order it absolutely right now. Go to your favorite retail site and pre-order. If you have already read it, make sure you post up those reviews, get your ratings in on Goodreads. Don't forget to go on review day to post your reviews at all the places. Black authors, we really, really, really need your support. Please and thank you. So really excited about that. This week I'm reading The Confessions of Franny Langton by Sarah Collins, and I hadn't planned on reading this, but the BritBox series, the dramatization version interpretation of this book is coming to BritBox starting March 8th, and I want to have like a good foundation. I want to have a good background to the story. I know what they're going to leave out a ton, but I want to know the story before I start watching it. I'm very excited about this starting up, and like knowing me, I'll watch like 3 episodes and then forget that it's out there and catch up on it like a year later, but at least I will have read the book. So I'm going to try to get that read before March 8th, which is when the BritBox series starts. I'm listening to that on audio. I'm also going to read Rootless by Crystal Zara Appia. that's coming out March 7th, so Tuesday. So I should probably start reading that, you think? Possibly. This one sounds really good. I'm just going to tap in here and look at the blurb. It's a provocative debut novel. I can't speak today. A provocative debut novel about a marriage in crisis that asks the question, can you ever be rooted in a home that's on the brink of collapse? So this is another dramatic novel, a marriage in crisis book, which is another vein of catnip for me. So looking forward to reading that this week as well. So I have busy time ahead of me. I also need to update my bookish planner. I use the Always Fully Booked planner by Little Inklings, which is a shop up in Canada. She only sells the dated planner in like September, October. It ships like November, December, then begins in January. I tell you, it is the only planner that I use. I am a Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar type of person for like work and personal, but for my books, I absolutely love this planner. She does have an undated version. I forget what it's called, but it's like the Always Fully Booked. It's just not dated, that has like all the different pages on it. So I'm tracking all my challenges in there, tracking what I'm reading each month. And so on Sundays, I usually go through and update that planner. So I have to wrap up February and start March and all of that tomorrow. That's on my plate. So those are my two things that I wanted to share. A little rambly, but who cares? You know what I'm saying? So I do have a bit of short fiction to share with you. This is something that I wrote years ago. I don't even know how long I wrote it, but it was a fan fiction challenge. So I went through and did some editing. Edited out the fan fiction-ish of it, changed some names, etc. It's super short. It's 1,400 words. This is what we call a one-shot, which is just a scene in a story, or it's like, you know, it's just a little short story stub. It's basically just a scene. And so we run a challenge where you just do, hey, 1,000 words, here's a prompt or not, go, post a story. So this was my one shot. I am going to make a copy of this available on my freebies page. It's booksbydlwhite.com/freebies. I'll put a link to this if you would rather read it than hear it. But I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then I'm going to share my one shot called I Almost Do. All right, here we go. This is called I Almost Do by D.L. White. I hear their door open, then gently close. I know who it is without turning around, and even if I didn't, he has a way about him. The cadence of his breathing, the rhythm of his steps, the scent of him is distinct. It's subtle, but so undeniably him. I know him. He doesn't say anything to me, though he knows I know he's here, and though I'm sitting in front of a mirror, he's purposely standing just outside the perimeter. Are you going to stand there until it's time for me to walk down the aisle? I ask. Don't you have anything to say to me? He inhales deeply, sucking in air through his nose, then I hear him drop into a plush, velvet-covered chair. I can see him now, and he knows I can. I watch him stretch his long legs out and cross them at the ankles. I think you know what I'm here to say. I put in the earrings that I bought for this wedding. Pearls. Internally, I laugh. I think of pearls as wholesome. I'm far from that, but they're a part of the role, the look, the blushing bride. Humor me, I reply. What is it, even though I know what it is you've come to say? He chuckles as his eyes travel the decadent, spacious bridal suite. You're really going through with this, huh? The whole thing, the wedding, the married life, playing the devoted life partner to Slade Hollis. After last night, you're really doing this? I push the bench away from the table where my face had been illuminated and magnified. Once I'm far enough back, I twist around to face him and smile. He's wearing the attire we asked him to wear as part of our wedding party. Jeans, white button-down, jacket. His dark hair curls around the collar of his shirt, accented by classy silver strands, the same silver that dots the thin beard on his chin and cheeks. The wedding is scheduled to take place in a few minutes. Vegas, because Slade and I are classy like that. I bought a dress in a not quite white shade, new shoes, new earrings. We asked friends to come along on the one day that Soundbleed, Slade's blues rock band, had a day off from touring to witness our impromptu nuptials. It's ritualistic, a ceremony for ceremony's sake, kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. It's ugly and unrealistic, but we're trying to make it look good. Doesn't it look like I'm really doing this? We're in Vegas. I'm wearing as white a dress as I think I could get away with. Elvis is waiting to say some vows we'll repeat, vows you won't mean. Sean always breaks in to state the obvious like it's a revelation no one else has considered. What difference does it make, Sean? When you had the chance to marry me, you ran. You came back last night with your tail still between your legs. I'm getting married and now you care? Now you mock how I've moved on with my life? Moved on so much that you asked me to come watch you do this. Slade asked you to come watch us do this. No, honey. He shakes his head, traces of a smile on his lips. I know you. You want me to stop you because I'm in love with you. Because you're in love with me. You proved that much last night. Flashes of the night before raced through my mind. The clandestine meeting in his hotel room while Slade was getting drunk with his best man. The wine he drank from my body. The chocolate he smeared across my breasts and then licked off. The wave after wave of orgasmic bliss that he'd always been able to deliver that Slade wished he was capable of. The utterings of love that Slade has always wanted to hear and never has. He huffs a frustrated sigh and tosses a hand in the air, letting it slap to his thigh. What if I don't? Don't what? He stares at me, almost looking through me. What if I don't stop you? I shrug. Then I live happily ever after as Mrs. Slade Hollis. Bullshit, Monica. Not as much bullshit as you actually showing up at my wedding, Sean. I rise from the cushioned bench and cross the room, my satin gown swishing, my pearl earrings glimmering, giving him every reminder that I'm about to walk out of his life for good if he doesn't make the move he needs to make, that I need him to make. I still know you like the back of my hand, Sean. I'm getting married and you can't stand it. If you're not here to stop this, go back to that fancy suite that Slade is paying for, get drunk, watch porn, snag a few ladies to spend time with, whatever. Just get out of my face about it unless what, Mon? He pulls his feet in before he stands and meets me in the middle of the room. He's so close, I can see the beads of sweat pop up to mingle among the grays at his temple. He's nervous. Good. Unless I'm willing to stop you, to step in and save you from making an enormous mistake. My brows rise. Like you'd actually do that? You've had 4 years, and because I wasn't willing to jump into marriage on your timeline, you snagged a guy that doesn't give a fuck about you, and he's probably cheating on you as we speak. I actually laugh at the irony that I was probably still in post-coital glow from our romp the night before. That's my future husband you're ranting about while you claim to not care. I never said I don't care, Monica. And here, aren't I? Why, though, Sean? Why do you care? Why did we fuck last night? Why are you here 5 minutes before I'm about to marry Slade? I hope the pleading in my voice and the tears that threaten to muss my modest makeup are doing the trick. Inside, I'm trembling. Look, no, you look. If I get to that chapel, I'm getting married. It won't matter that I love you so much I can't see straight. It won't matter that Slade doesn't love me, and yes, he's probably fucking a waitress, and I don't give a shit. It won't matter that the only man I want to take vows with is standing right in front of me. He gazes at me for a few long seconds. Stop me, Sean. Please. There's a car outside. His eyes don't meet mine, and his voice is gruff, low, full of emotion. I'll wait 15 minutes, and then I'm gone. And I am not coming back for you again. He steps away from me and turns to leave, but stops as he palms the knob. Be in the car, Monica. Please. He walks out then, quickly moving out of my suite and closing the door with a finality that I feel in my soul. His shadow doesn't even cross the threshold before I yank down the zipper on the ridiculously frilly dress and pull it off, then dig out the change of clothes I packed in a duffel bag. In a few minutes, I am ready to walk out of this life. For good. I drop a pre-written note on the bed next to the dress, the heels, the pearls. Slade will glance at it, laugh, and toss it back onto the bed, and move on to his life, and move on with his life as he always has. Heaving the longest, loudest sigh of relief that I don't have to do what I almost did, I slip out of the suite and run to the elevator. I'm so glad it worked. That was a short that I wrote for a one-shot challenge many years ago. I don't even remember when I wrote that. What did you think? So would you read a fuller, longer version of this story, or was it just right? Shout me out a holler in the comments of this post at booksbydlwhite.com/bookcast. Or you can hit me up on my social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at author_DLWhite, or on Facebook at facebook.com/booksbydlwhite. There will be posts for this episode on both of those websites. You can also shoot me an email if you like. It's authordl@booksbydlwhite.com. It's such a good day. I love Saturday. It's sunny. I have my coffee. It's early in the morning. I had a good night of sleep after a really great, tough week at work. I am ready to get my weekend on, so thank you for joining me for today's episode. As always, you can follow me on your favorite podcast app or at booksbydlwhite.com/bookcast. If you're interested in reading more of my writing, you can hit me at booksbydlwhite.com/books, or you can hit my website, my web store directly at payhip.com/booksbydlwhite. And I want to mention to you, if you like my work and you've already read all my books and you own the ebook and the print and the audio and you just want to throw a little cash my way, I will not turn it down. You can always hit me, send me a tip, buy me a cup of coffee. I'm looking up my coffee account. I think it's ko-fi/booksbydlwhite. I am confirming this. This is live TV, people. It is ko-fi.com/booksbydlwhite. You can always shoot me a one-time gift, buy me a cup of coffee. It's just $3 to just shoot me a tip that says, hey, I really like what you do. Or you can send over a monthly gift. I will not turn that down. If you follow me on any social media website, I always have a link in my bio. It's like a start.page.booksbydlwhite or something like that. All the important links are there to buy my books at my website, to buy my books at Resist, to buy my books at your favorite retail site, to visit my blog, to visit my website, to visit my Amazon wish list. All of those books are there. booksbydlwhite.start.page. That's just my splash page. All the options to support this webcast, to listen to the bookcast. You can still get codes for Spotify to listen to Brunch at Ruby's or Dinner at Sam's free on Spotify. There are still some codes available. Grab them while they're available. I have a link to my Amazon wish list, and you can also support the podcast by buying me a cup of coffee. It's only $3. There's also a link to my freebies page, a link to shop at Resist Booksellers, a link to shop at my web store, and a link to buy some merch if you just would like to wear Books by D.L. White across your chest. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode as I did. Have a fantastic weekend and a superlative week, and we will talk again next Friday or Saturday, as it seems to turn out.